Welcome back, history buffs, to the Time Vault. Today, we're embarking on a journey to the fringes of memory, uncovering the stories of colossal military bases that have been lost to time. These aren't just abandoned buildings. They were once nerve centers of power, bristling with soldiers and secrets, now silent and reclaimed by nature. So, strap in as we explore the lost military bases the world forgot. Our first stop takes us to the windswept shores of the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. Here lies the Adak Naval Air Station, a fortress in the fog. During World War II, Adak was a critical outpost in the brutal Aleutian Islands campaign against Japan. It was the jumping-off point for attacks and a bulwark against invasion. Imagine, at its peak, over 6,000 personnel called this remote island home. It had everything: runways, barracks, a hospital, even a bowling alley. After the war, it became a key Cold War listening post, its massive antennas eavesdropping on Soviet communications. But when the Cold War thawed, Adak's purpose melted away. The base was officially closed in 1997. Today, it's a ghost town. Empty houses with faded curtains line the streets, and huge hangars stand like hollowed-out skeletons against the dramatic Alaskan sky. It's a haunting reminder of how quickly strategic importance can fade, leaving behind only echoes. Next, we venture into the heart of Europe, to a place shrouded in mystery, the Wunsdorf Soviet military base in Germany. Just an hour south of Berlin, this wasn't just a base, it was a city. Known as Little Moscow, Wunsdorf was the headquarters for the Soviet forces in Germany for nearly 50 years. Over 75,000 Soviet men, women and children lived here, completely isolated from the outside German world. It had its own schools, shops, theaters, and a daily train to Moscow. The centerpiece was the massive command center, a labyrinth of bunkers designed to withstand a nuclear attack. Imagine the secrets held within those concrete walls, the plans for a war that thankfully never came. After the fall of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of Germany, the last Soviet soldier left in 1994, overnight a bustling city fell silent. Today, Wunsdorf is a strange and fascinating ruin. Ornate statues of Lenin still stand, crumbling theaters are filled with peeling paint, and murals of Soviet glory fade on barrack walls. Walking through its empty streets feels like stepping into a parallel universe, a frozen moment of a fallen empire. Now let's head to the warm waters of the Caribbean, to the island of Vieques in Puerto Rico. For over 60 years, a huge portion of this beautiful island was a U.S. Navy bombing range and training ground. The Roosevelt Roads Naval Station on the main island of Puerto Rico was its command center. One of the largest naval facilities in the world, Vieques was the live-fire training ground. Day and night, the sounds of explosions and gunfire were the soundtrack to island life. This created immense tension with the local population, who protested for decades against the environmental damage and the danger posed by the military activities. The struggle of the people of Vieques is a powerful story in itself. Finally, in 2003, the Navy ceased all operations and left the island. What they left behind is a complicated legacy. The former bombing ranges are now stunning wildlife refuges, home to pristine beaches and glowing bioluminescent bays. But beneath this beauty lies a hidden danger: unexploded ordnance. The cleanup is a massive ongoing effort. Vieques is a stark example of how military presence can scar a landscape, and how nature, with a little help, can begin the slow process of healing. Our journey now takes us beneath the waves, to a base that was never meant to be found. Olavsvern Naval Base in Norway, carved directly into a mountain near the city of Tromsø. This was a top-secret submarine base built during the Cold War. It was a masterpiece of engineering, a subterranean fortress designed to house NATO submarines and protect them from Soviet attack. Inside the mountain there was a complex network of tunnels, workshops, dry docks, and living quarters, all connected by a deep, water-filled tunnel that allowed submarines to enter directly from the sea, completely hidden from spy satellites. For years, Olavsvern was a critical asset in the cat-and-mouse game played under the Arctic ice. But with the end of the Cold War, its strategic value plummeted. In a decision that still baffles many, the Norwegian government decommissioned the base and sold it in 2013 to a private company. And for a while it was even rented out to Russian research vessels, a twist of irony that nobody could have predicted. Imagine a secret NATO base, built to fight the Soviets, ending up in the hands of their successors. The base is now back under military control. But its brief journey into the private sector makes it one of the strangest stories of a lost military installation. From the frozen north, we travel to the scorching desert of Libya to find the Wheelus Airbase. Just outside of Tripoli, Wheelus was once known as the Little America of the Mediterranean, starting as an Italian airbase in World War II. It was taken over by the United States and expanded into one of the most important U.S. Air Force bases outside the country. During the Cold War, it was a strategic hub for operations across North Africa and the Middle East. Tens of thousands of American service members and their families lived there in a self-contained American town. It had schools, cinemas, swimming pools, and a sprawling beach club on the Mediterranean coast. It was a slice of American suburbia transplanted into the Libyan desert, but its existence was tied to the political climate. After Colonel Gaddafi came to power in 1969, the relationship between the US and Libya soured dramatically. The Americans were ordered to leave, and in 1970, the US flag was lowered for the last time. The base was handed over to the new Libyan government and renamed Mitiga Air Base. Today it remains an active airport, but the American-built chapels, bowling alleys, and ranch-style houses are either gone or repurposed, relics of a forgotten alliance in a bygone era. Finally, let's fly to the Pacific, to Johnston Atoll, one of the most isolated places on Earth. This tiny speck of land, hundreds of miles from anywhere, was one of America's most secret and controversial military bases for over 70 years. It started as a bird sanctuary, but its strategic location made it invaluable. During World War II, it was a naval air station and submarine base. But its darkest chapter came during the Cold War. Johnston Atoll became the primary site for America's chemical weapons stockpile and disposal program. An enormous incinerator was built to destroy millions of pounds of mustard gas and nerve agents like sarin. It was also the site of high-altitude nuclear tests in the 1960s. One test, called Starfish Prime, lit up the entire Pacific sky. Living and working here was a hazardous duty. The island was a tightly controlled, highly toxic environment. After decades of use, a massive cleanup operation began, costing billions of dollars. In 2004, the last person left, and the base was officially closed. The island was turned back into a wildlife refuge, a place for birds and marine life, but as a place with a poisoned past, a monument to the most dangerous technologies humanity has ever created, now abandoned in the middle of the vast Pacific Ocean. From Arctic fjords to tropical islands, from German forests to desert sands, these lost bases tell incredible stories. They are monuments to history's turning points, to forgotten conflicts and vanished empires. They remind us that even the most powerful symbols of strength and strategy can be swallowed by time, leaving behind only whispers and ruins. What other forgotten places should we explore next? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for joining us here at the Time Vault. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.